Hi, I'm Pat Sloan. Thanks for dropping in. What I want to do is show you a little bit about block number 3 of Grandma's Kitchen. I'm naming everything, every block, something that is a reminder of my childhood grandmothers. You might have a similar thing, or this might trigger a memory for you. This week, block number 3 is called the key holder. And I write a little bit about that in the pattern, but let me just tell you real briefly is that my granny had what she called the doghouse key holder, and it was where they hung the keys, and it was always a big joke that if Grandpa was in the doghouse, then his key went on a special little hook, because that meant he was kind of in trouble. So the key holder was kind of a fun thing in one of my grandmother's house. So let's take a look at the block because we've got squares and half square triangles this time. It's not that difficult, and I want to just show you a couple little pointers. Here I've got half square triangles, and these are half square triangles, and then these are squares. And the pattern gives you all the directions. This is the fabric grouping that I'm working with this time. I've got the light, I'm using the stripe and this sort of silver gingham or check as my basic so that I can put them in a lot of the blocks. And then I pulled pinks and grays and sort of the pinky red that came with the collection that I'm happen to be using. So I want to do this with the strip set because when you're doing these blocks here, using a strip set is a pretty easy way to make all of those. So that's what the directions have. And these are cut 2 inches and 2 inches. And then you can cut them about 17 inches long or a little longer. You'll have a little left over. What we're going to do is subcut them. Now I have a trick here, a couple little things that I do so that I know what's going on. First of all, I want to make the end straight because, I want to cut right from the end. And then I measure where the 2 inches are, but I'm not measuring right up from the top. I'm actually pulling it so that it's a little bit, so I have the whole ruler on top of it. So you can see under here, well, it's a little hard with that distance, but you can see that I've got the whole ruler on top of it, and then I subcut, and I'll get the strips. Now, one of the things about these is I press to the dark. We're just going to make them easier to butt the next two up against each other so that when I'm doing this, there we go. When I'm doing that, you can see that they're going to be like right next to each other like this for sewing. So that makes it super easy. But when I'm cutting along here, I'm going to cut several of them. But after you do a few, this outer edge might need to be trimmed up again because it starts to shift and go like this. And then your blocks are not accurate. So this block should measure 2 by 3.5. And that's the measurement I give you when you're doing each unit. I give you sub measurements, and you really should measure those. That way you know exactly what is accurate. Because otherwise, if you don't measure subunits, then all of a sudden your block is out of whack. Your seam allowance may have been a little off at one point, and then all of a sudden you don't have accurate patchwork anymore. So that's why the subunits are there. You should measure each time, and you should press in between, not have it just necessarily finger pressed. Go to the iron and press it. This is how you get your exercise. Get up out of the seat and go to the iron. It's good. It's good. One other thing I want to show you is just the tool. There's several ways to trim half square triangles, and I oversize them a little bit, so then I bring them down so I find it much more accurate. And it's a tiny little bit of waste. It's not very much. So I want to show you that portion of things. So here's half square triangles. And one of the units I've been using lately are the Quilt in the Day rulers. See, here, I'm going to put this behind. See that? The Quilt in the Day ruler, because it's got these measurements here. Here's the point. So I'm doing a 3.5 inch half square triangle, and that's what I want to have down here. I put that line that 3.5-inch line over here and just trim on both sides. And when I do that and then press open, the whole unit will be exactly what I want to use into the project. Now let me bring the whole block back here a minute. I ended up using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different fabrics for mine. You could use as little or as many as you want. If you're using only 2 fabrics, note you have an issue because you almost need at least 3. But you can always have that as a single bar over there, and then these colors would touch. I mean, you have to figure that out if you don't want to do it the other way. But I made these little extras, and I thought, here, what if you flip them? See? Makes it look different. To flip them to the outside, there's that way, where they're all in the center, and make a center diamond, or on the outside. So there we go, the block number 3 of Grandma's Kitchen. I have been seeing amazing blocks from the Grandma's Kitchen. You guys are having so much fun, and I love the stories. Remember, if you don't have your own story, either about the theme of the block for your own family, think about maybe something else. It's fun to have that sort of idea, that theme to work with each week. It's a lot of great memories. And I'm having a good time, and I'm having a great time reading yours. A lot of you are sharing, and that's so wonderful. So here I am, block is the key holder. So I don't know if your grandma had a doghouse key holder like mine. If she did, leave me a note. I think that'd be kind of funny. I wish I had a picture of it. Maybe somewhere in that shoebox of pictures that Granny left, there might be one. So I'm Pat Sloan. Visit me at patsloan.com, where I have links to all the fun. These blocks are a free pattern. You can get at ilovetomakequilts.com. And you can join me at Facebook at My Quilt Along with Pat Sloan. Bye-bye.